Let's continue expanding the mine function within the miner class. With the ability to grab valid transactions from the transaction pool now, and also to create a reward transaction for the miner, we can combine the two together within one block for the blockchain. So first up, let's satisfy the next step that we outlined in the mine function, which is to include a reward transaction for the miner. We'll push a reward transaction to the valid transactions array that we found from the pool. We'll create the reward transaction using the static reward transaction function from the transaction class. We'll push, again, a call to transaction class dot generate the reward transaction using the static reward transaction function. And then the parameters we want to pass are this dot wallet, since we want to award this miner using his wallet or her wallet in order to create the reward transaction. And then next, we want to use the special blockchain wallet instance in order to approve the reward. So overall, we're pushing the reward transaction to reward the miner for her or his mining efforts. Notice too now that we have a couple dependencies. One is the transaction class and the wallet class, but we don't have those required yet. So at the top of the file, let's make a wallet constant that is the result of requiring the wallet directory at the top. And then we'll create a transaction constant as well that is the result of requiring the transaction class from the transaction, or rather the wallet directory as well, and they're both up one directory. As for the next step we have outlined, we are ready to construct a block on the blockchain with this miner class whose block data consists of these valid transactions that now also includes the reward transaction. So we're going to create a block over here in this comment. Our block is set to this.blockchain.addBlock, and then this block will consist of the valid transactions as the data for the parameter for the addBlock function. Great, so we can get rid of this comment as well, since now we're generating a block. The next step is to synchronize the chains in the peer-to-peer server, which we already have a function for. So we can call this.p2p server.sync chains, which is our chain synchronization function. All right, so we can clear this as well. Now, continuing in the mine function, we want to clear the transaction pool. As such, let's write a clear function within the transaction pool that does the job of setting the transactions to an empty array. So in transactionpool.js, within the wallet directory, we're going to add a function called clear, whose only job is to set this.transactions to an empty array to effectively clear out this pool from all of its transaction objects. Excellent. This now means back in the miner class, we can now use that function, and we'll call this.transactionpool.clear in order to clear the transaction pool of the local miner. Perfect. The next step is to broadcast a clear to all the transaction pools, so that way they don't accidentally include the same transactional data in the blockchain again. But before we create that functionality, let's make sure the clear function works in the transaction pool by writing a quick test within transaction-pool.test.js, then make sure it clears correctly. So above our mixing and valid corrupt transactions test, let's have a test that says it clears transactions. And in this test, we'll call tp.clear to clear the pool. And then when we look at the tp.transactions variable, we'll expect that tp.transactions are equal to an empty array. All right, great. Let's save that. And then go ahead and open up the command line. And then we're going to run the test runner if you don't already have it running already. And then what we're looking for is a complete passing test suite. And indeed looks like everything is okay. And all the tests pass, meaning that our transaction pool was able to clear itself successfully. With that, we now have the mine function within the miner class nearly completed. The last step is to broadcast a clearing of transactions for all the miners to perform on their transaction pool.